Hey, what up, y'all? I hope y'all are doing well. Thank you for tuning in. This is the first video that I'm uploading to the channel, so I'm so glad that you're here. All right, let's get started. So if you were following me on IG, or if you haven't, I entered a contest. This is the first contest that I'm entering, so this is the build that you're gonna see. I'm gonna be doing commentary through this whole video, so if you really like my voice, go ahead and turn up the headphones. If you don't, well, turn them down and you can watch the subtitles and read it in your voice. So I entered my first competition, and I'm gonna list the rules and the guidelines down in the description below so you can see what I'm working with. But I had been wanting to enter some sort of competition because over the last couple years since I've been building since 2023. I've been really wanting to try to exercise the things that I'm learning throughout this whole experience, and the contest just kind of kept coming up. So I decided to join one because it came up on my feed, and I was like, all right, well, it's a sign, I guess, from the Gunpla gods. So I had this Kshatriya in this backlog, and it was the biggest kit from the HGUC 1 through 100 timeline. That's what the overarching contest was about. I decided to go with this one because I was like, all right, well, let me go for a challenge. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go in. We're not afraid around here. We ain't scared around here. The approach that I took for this build was basically assembling the whole kit, which I had never done before in this kind of format. Assembling the whole kit, seeing what it looked like, and then disassembling the kit to go ahead and primer and then paint the parts. I used ChatGPT to support with curating potential themes that I wanted for this build. So I only had a week. Oh, shout out to all the dads, because if y'all hear my baby in the background, she's showing me love. You know what I'm saying? I only had a week to build this kit and customize it. So I put information into ChatGPT to support with curating something that, I was interested in painting and working with. So what you see here is the disassembling of the kit, because ChatGPT curated me a Halo-esque noir vibe, and after assembling the kit and then disassembling the kit, right, I'm figuring out what pieces I'm going to paint. Now, I know that the primary color, or the majority of the color, is going to be the same, and I'm just going to do really accent colors to kind of help the kit pop a little bit more and still give it that noir feel. So as you can see here, I went ahead and I painted these parts a Castilian green that I got from Citadel. And I found this because I hit a local hobby shop that really focused on Warhammer stuff. And how I got there was, here's something to think about. I actually bought a whole bunch of materials and spray paint, because that's what I was gonna do for this kit. I wasn't planning on hand painting it. And I went to Hobby Lobby, bought all the materials, came home, realized I already had spray paints here to use for the build. And so I ended up returning all those paints back to Hobby Lobby. Well, come to find out, I ended up running out of, during this build, those paints. And it was too late to go back to Hobby Lobby because the competition was like 3 days. So I ended up not going back. So that would be my tip. It was, if you ever go out to buy materials for a build, just keep all the materials until the build is done, and then return whatever you need to return if you don't decide on keeping it. Because that was a mistake that I made, and you'll notice later in the build that I used other colors because of the lack of materials. So I went ahead and I primered this whole kit with a gray primer. And I knew that I was going to need that, so that way the paint could obviously adhere and stay. I was going to be doing a matte top coat at the end of this, just to give it that noir kind of stealthy vibe. As you can see throughout the build, there are some pieces that you can see that still show the primer piece. And you'll notice also, as I'm applying the acrylic paint, which you saw earlier in the last frame, that some of the parts didn't quite fit, perfectly as intended, because the paint is thick. And so the paint on that part made it difficult to kind of place the pieces back into their original spaces that they're supposed to go into, like this, you know, the back of this skirt, the side skirts, etc. But back to the painting portion of it, you'll see that some of those, as I was mentioning, some of those pieces underneath these parts are the primer because I didn't have enough paint to paint all the way through. So I did my best to kind of paint the outside, obviously, of the kit, and then tried to get a little bit of the inside of the kit as well, so that way whenever I put it together, you can't see the inside of the kit, which is still that primer, you know, that you see here in the image. I mean, all in all, it's coming out good. I really liked how it was coming out so far. And this was a bit tricky because I had to be precise with how I was going to be using the rest of my materials. I was running out of paint, and I was running out of paint fast. And I was a little bit nervous. So here you see me putting together the kit after it's been painted and dried for a day, because I'm gonna hit it with, I wanted to see what it looked like first, and then I'm just gonna hit it with the top coat. So let's take a look at this, fool. I thought the colors came out great. Now, obviously, I would not hand paint this whole thing again, nor would I hand paint any other kit, I think, as at least with this much area to paint. The bronze came out really nice. I think the gray primer underneath made it pop a little differently, where I think I would have used a black primer instead. And as you can see on the shiny black parts, partially on the binders that are connecting the binders to the kit, it's more glossy, and that's because I used a color changing base that I had from another kit, because again, I was running out of materials. But I think all in all, this kit came out great. I mean, it's exactly what I thought it would look like, so I'm happy. Let me know in the comments what you think about this build.